Esau and Edom, Part 4, Esau's Kingdom. In the last videos, we talked about Esau's ancient characteristics and the prophecies and inheritance that relates to Esau. I highly suggest that you watch parts 1 through 3 before watching this video, so that way you can understand who is Esau today. For this is his kingdom, as written in 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 8 through 9. For Esau is the beginning of the world, and for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth it. So let us go to Genesis chapter 27, and we will read verse 39 to 41 to identify the characteristics of Esau's kingdom, and also to identify the characteristics of Esau's nation. Because again, my people, this subject is about the nation of Esau. Starting with verse 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing, wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother. So some of the characteristics of Esau's kingdom today is that he and his descendants, which are called the Edomites, will be dwelling in the fatness of the earth. Also, they will live by the sword, SWORD, which is a very important characteristic piece here. For wherever they go, my people, they will kill. Also, another important characteristic is that when they establish their kingdom upon this earthly realm, they shall break the yoke off their neck from being under their brother. They will no longer be a servant unto Jacob and his descendants. In another video, my people, I will explain what does it mean to be a servant in the Most High Kingdom. For again, in this kingdom, we have the incorrect understanding of what a servant is. But let us get back to the lesson. So he would break the yoke off his neck and no longer be in servitude to Jacob and his descendants. Let us go to the next slide for another characteristics of Esau's kingdom. Another characteristic of Esau's kingdom can be found in Psalms chapter 50, verse 16 through 23. But unto the wicked the Most High saith, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing that hatest instruction, and casteth my words behind thee. So in this kingdom, he will use the word of the Most High, which is the King James Bible, to do his bidding. You see, my people, he will have the same nature as the Pharisee and scribe. They are hypocrites. They would force you to obey the Most High word, but for their nation, they would not follow it. Also in their kingdom, they would make laws. But they would not even follow their own laws, for they would break those laws. Back to the Most High word. When they took their brother Jacob as servants, in other words, they made their brother Jacob to be slaves in their kingdom. Notice how they treated them. Did they follow the words of the Most High? Did they follow the Torah on how to treat your servants? And the answer is no. Just study the transatlantic slave history. Also study the so-called Indians of the Americas and see how they treated them. Let's continue. When thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. So Edom has joined in with Satan and his followers, for they had a devious plan against Jacob, his brother, which we will talk about in the next slide. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue refraineth deceit. Also in history, they made many covenants with my people, such as trying to guarantee them rights, such as saying they would not take their lands, and they broke every last one of them. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thy own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such a one as thyself. But I will reprove thee, and set them in order before thy eyes. Now consider this, ye that forget the Most High, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver. So those who are wicked and continue not to repent of their wicked acts, in other words, they didn't make it right. They will not acknowledge the truth, and that can be seen in history about what Esau has done to Jacob. They continue in their unrighteousness. They continue to mistreat their brother, and they will not repent and make it right with Jacob. So the Most High is going to destroy their nation. Verse 23. Whoso offereth praise glorifieth me, and to him that ordereth his conversation aright will I shew the salvation of the Most High Yah. Let us proceed to the next slide. Psalms chapter 83 also give a great characteristic that will happen in Esaus Kingdom. For a great conspiracy, a great wicked conspiracy will occur in his kingdom. Let us read Psalms chapter 83. The summary: a complaint to the Most High of the enemy's conspiracies, a prayer against them that oppress the church. Keep not thy silence, O Most High, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Most High. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And we can see here today, they have truly cut us off from being a nation. For no one believed that the so-called Negroes are the children of Israel. That no one believed that the so-called Indians are the children of Israel. That no one believed that the children of Israel fled into Africa in 70 AD when Titus destroyed it. They don't believe because my brother Esau had lied and taken our relics and painted them with white faces. Do you see what is going on in my brother's kingdom? For he had created a great conspiracy against the Most High people. Let us read. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarites. Verse 7. Gebal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot. Selah. So you can read this whole chapter for further study. But in Esau Kingdom, you can see that the other nations will join in with him to go against his own brother. Also, let us read Psalms chapter 2, verse 1 through 3. Psalms chapter 2, verse 1 through 3. The kingdom of Yahushua HaMashiach. Kings are exhorted to accept it. Verse 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Most High and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. So we have another hard piece of evidence to prove who is Esau today. Let us continue to the next slide. This is an image of the 1492 Spanish conquest of America with Christopher Columbus. As you can see in this image, it just confirmed what we just read in Genesis chapter 27, Psalms 83, and Psalms chapter 2. This is an image of my brother Edom. Now, I know what you're thinking. How did they become white today? Well, we will also talk about this in another video. But let us continue. Notice in this image, they come with the cross with a so-called picture of Yahushua HaMashiach. And then they come with the sword in another hand, which fulfill the prophecies that are written in Genesis chapter 27. For everything that they inherit will be by the sword, and they will come with the word of the Most High to use it for their ill will purpose. Let us look at the next image. In this image represents the Europeans. And also, if you look closer in the pictures above, they come with a cross. And we know also, according to their history, they come with the sword when they conquer the Americas, as well as when they enslaved my people who lived in Africa. And remember, my people fled into Africa when Jerusalem was destroyed in 70 AD. Okay? History, my people, do not lie. And remember, people paint images according to how they look. So as you can see, look at the color of their skin. Now, I need to make a correction. Not all white people are Edomites, okay? But we're talking about a nation right now. And the main characteristic of Edom as a nation is that they do have white skin. But we also have to look at the ancient traits, which we'll take a look at the next slide. And also in the next video, we will discuss how did my brother Edom become white. Now let us review Edom nation characteristics. Now this is very important, my people. each nation does have a main characteristic to show you who they are. For example, when you hear the word African American, the first thought come to your mind is black skin and curly hair, but today people call it kinky hair. This is what I mean. We are all aware that not all African Americans, or so-called African Americans, have black skin, for they too can resemble the other nations. So when we talk about Edom's nation characteristics, I want you to keep in mind this is what the majority will have. Now, the ancient trait of them is that they would have red skin and red hair. And we can see the red hair as evident today. Also, we have brunettes who have hues of redness in their hair. You need to ask yourself, where did that come from? Now, in the pictures we saw prior, we saw the Edomites to have white skin. In the next video, we're going to talk about how did my brother become white. We also learned that Esau is hairy. Even in science today, they have a picture of a Neanderthal, which I will share in another video. And this Neanderthal is very hairy and has red hair. Also on this slide, you can see that the word Esau and seer means hairy. And I forgot to mention that the word Idumea also means red as well. My brother Edom is also a cunning hunter, and you can see that in the televisions today. And their dwellings would be in the fatness of the earth. Just look at history and see where they have moved about. And remember, just because they have a different name, as such as just because their nation has a different name, does not mean they are not the descendants of Edom. For we know, according to the works of Josephus, that the Greeks changed the names of the nations. And this is why today you cannot trace who are the Edomites. But now the truth about them are coming out. We also learned that they live by the sword. So wherever they go, they always are killing, stealing people's land. And then they go inhabit those people's land and take over. They also oppress those people in those lands. Just look at history and even in the news today. Edom also do not follow Yahuwah's commandment. As you can see, the Europeans and the Spaniards took the word of the Most High to use against my people who live in Africa. And remember, my people fled into Africa because Jerusalem was destroyed in 70 AD. They also used the word against my people in the Americas, who y'all ignorantly call them Indians. Okay? So they came with the word of the Most High in one hand and a sword in another hand. And they came with the cross and a false image of Yahushua HaMashiach. This is why in number 7 they are a wicked seed. For they had gone in the ways of Cain. For Cain, even with his brother, developed a hatred towards him. Please read the book of Adam and Eve. For Cain's hatred towards his brother was so great that he listened to Satan and killed his own brother. And this is the same thing that's happening with my brother Edom. He is so wicked, for he would not repent of the evil he has done unto us. And even when we have the truth in black and white and the evidence, they continue to ignore this. Now, I want to make this clear. Not all white people are Edomites, okay? Which we'll talk about in the next video. But if you are an Edomite today, listening to this video, and you do not want to be like your nation, you have a choice. The Most High is giving you time now to make it right, to repent, and to receive salvation that is written in Romans chapter 10, verse 8 through 13. For will be a remnant of Edom spared. Now this remnant will not be a nation no more, my people, but there will be a remnant spared who has chose not to follow the ways of this evil nation. So this will end this lesson now. Let us go to the next slide. In the next video, we will learn how did Esau become white. Thank you for watching, and repent while ye have time and receive salvation. Romans chapter 10, verse 8 through 13. And be baptized in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Shalom. All praise.